So we will get started. How the SQL helps in Power BI. Very good question. So Power BI and Tableau are two tools which helps you to do the data visualizations by making the graphs, right? So in terms of SQL, if you have huge amount of data in SQL, you can import that data. Chinkari, okay, Chinkari Vijay Kumar, your question I'm answering. So you can import from there, and once you have imported from there, what you can do, you can create visualizations based on the import that you have done. Okay, so that is one big benefit, how SQL will be integrated with Power BI, and SQL gets very easily integrated with Power BI as well as Tableau, both of these tools, both of these visualization tools. So if you know SQL, see, when you're learning Power BI, you don't end up writing queries, is not required. But see, the main benefit of learning will be that you will be able to integrate the data. What is the trigger and what is the Power BI? What is the trigger and pointer? These things we will cover today. SQL is widely used, yes, for the agile methodology. Definitely it is required. So triggers we will cover. SQL for agile methodology, there are two main things. One is agile, one is waterfall. These are the two separate models that we have got. When it comes to the waterfall model, it goes step by step. You know, now that that question has been asked, I can answer this quickly by explaining you in a simple way. So when it comes to the waterfall model, you know, when you draw, look at the image that I created, this waterfall model goes in this way, where you have the requirements to the design, then to the development, then to the testing, then deployment, and then the maintenance. Okay. Now, when it comes to waterfall model or agile model, SQL is widely used irrespective of whichever methodology you are following. Okay, it is widely used. Can you tell if data is huge in SQL and when connected to Power BI, it gets timed out? It doesn't happen, Apur Garve. What kind of, can you tell me the dimension of data, how big that data is? Normally it won't happen. Okay, normally it won't happen, but yes, I mean, if you think, you know, it is happening, there are some resolutions to it. You can upload the data in parts. That is one thing that you can do, right? Any other question? MongoDB. Okay, when it comes to MongoDB, it is kind of a database which is a NoSQL database program. Currently, what we are learning, everybody, SQL database. But MongoDB is a NoSQL. So it uses something like, if you've heard of JSON. So it uses JSON-like documents and very powerful software which works on multiple operating systems and all. So whenever it comes to MongoDB, so there'll be a lot of difference. It is just opposite to what we are doing right now. So it is different from the SQL database because it comes under a NoSQL, right? So written in a language which is C++, very powerful database for handling comparatively high scalable data. Okay, or you know, when you are really concerned with the performance oriented databases, then you can go with MongoDB. Clear, everybody? So, but one suggestion is for all of you, before you go on to the understanding the MongoDB, you should be very well versed with the SQL concepts first. Okay, so you should be very comfortable with SQL. It becomes much more easier that way. Clear, everybody? Okay, Kinjal Patil has shared a link. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Oh, 27 crore, due to which their condition clauses will take fetch. That's a huge data. And try considering it by dividing it into and okay, in yesterday assignment, the database you wanted to create in an Excel sheet or write a code in a SQL editor. So then ideally what I wanted was, you know, that all of you do it in a by doing the setup. I was requesting all of you, after doing the setup, do it on the SQL system on the editor. I was hoping that you all will do it. But if you have not done it on the SQL editor, it's okay. So far as you can submit the queries in an Excel sheet or in a Word document or in a notepad file, it is okay. We can understand in 2 days itself. You cannot complete the setup also and the queries also. So for now, what you can do the setup for us on the, you can write the queries for us on a Word document. Clear, everybody? Any questions on this? Okay. Now the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to go to the slides one by one and try to understand what we have covered yesterday. Yesterday, we've looked into what is SQL. SQL is structured query language. We discussed that it is an RDBMS structure where you can have the fields and columns and rows and records. You then have a table and then you create the databases within that. We understood the overall process. You have a SQL query, then you've got a query language processor which fires the query to the DBMS engine and hence passing the data to the database. Today, I don't know how many of you have done the setup. How many of you have done the setup? Excellent. Many of you said you have done the setup. Good. So far as you have done the setup, that will be really helpful. All those who have not been able to do the setup, it is absolutely fine. Okay, I will give you the, yeah, that's fine, no problem. You can continue to do on the online editor. Okay, I will help you there. Now, though I explained you how the database setup can be done. Now, if some of you said you are still confused on the setup part, that is okay. Very quickly, I can show it to you. So this is the link that we have to click on, SQL Server 2014. Now, please look into very carefully how the setup can be done. Okay, Mrinmoy Bhaturji, very good. If you have done the setup, Gautam, Nisha, very well done. So did you follow the same instructions? Were you able to do with the instructions? Okay, so I have a look at it, guys. This link, let me one more time copy in the chat. I think I shared it yesterday, but I'm putting it in the chat multiple times so you can access it easily. It's the same link I've copied multiple times for your convenience. Now, another thing over here, one thing you have to remember here is you will scroll down and then this download option, can you see? You will click on download. And yesterday I was telling it is going to be very difficult to search because there are files are so many, and it is difficult to hunt for it. What you can do, you want this file, right? This file. So all you need to do is just copy this file, this name that you have, and you will go to this option. You can just say Control F, Control V. Can you see this? It highlights it. You can tick this option. Then which is the next option? The next option is this one. Copy this also, Management Studio. Yeah, copy this option as well. And then search for this option also in this download option. You can see that, and then you can click on tick, and then you can click on next. As you click on the next, it will download both the files for you. Now, once both the files, now see, this might take time, so you don't have to rush. Okay, let it take its own time in doing the setup. But let's say if it has done the entire setup, then what you are going to do next, you will first install the server file and then you will do the Management Studio file. Okay, so these are the instructions. I hope it is very well done. Mrinmoy, that any of these setups you can do. That is not a problem. Any setups you can do. Okay, both of them will work. Clear, everybody? No questions? Okay, now what we are going to do is next is we are going to understand the SQL clauses. What is the SQL clause? How does it work? All those things we are going to talk about. Before we understand the SQL clauses, there are different statements: create, How do you process on the database? First of all, you will create what you will create. You will create a database. Once the database is created, you will create the tables, right? And on those tables, you will have some operations that you will perform. You will create the table. You will insert the data in the tables. You can update the data in the tables. Whatever I'm writing, I will share it in the chat with all of you. You can delete the data, we say from the tables, right? And most importantly, you can select the data from the tables. Now, in terms of selecting, if you do select star from an EMP table, it will help you select everything. But if you don't want to have everything, only selective thing you want, then you can go for the typical column name. So now I'm going to search for Online SQL Editor. Most of you said you don't have the setup, maybe because of the official laptop. Some of you might not have a laptop currently, right? So not a problem. You can continue to do on this only. So let me give you this link directly for the class. Can you please copy? Don't worry. If you don't have the setup, doesn't mean we cannot learn. We can learn. Okay. Now see, these are the different available tables that we have got. Let me show you all the tables. Customer is a table, orders is a table, shipping is the table. Now, can anybody count and tell me how many columns are there in customers table? How many columns are there in orders table? How many columns are there in shipping table? I'll give you 1 minute of time. Just tell me how many columns are there in each of this. Just write it in the chat, guys. Quickly, then I'll explain the data types one by one. Excellent. The number of counts in the customer table, the number of columns, how do you read a table? Look at the customers table, you have got customer ID, which can be a number. And because customer ID can be a number, you have taken it as customer underscore ID. And it can be one number, two number, 2005. These are the different things that you can have. And then you have got another table, which is the orders table. Then you have got the shippings table. These are the different types of tables that we have got. Okay. Now here, when I say select star from customers and I run this SQL, everybody has got this link. Anybody needs this link? You can do these steps parallelly with me. Open this link, please. And now if I want to do only selective thing, see over here, can you see the output? It has given me all this. But let's say I wanted to select only first underscore name. You should give very clearly you should give. See, only in the output first names are coming. Okay, clear everybody? So that's the difference. Now quick practice on this. Can you all tell me if I wanted to, let's say, fetch the first name and the last name, what will be the query? Can you try that on the editor and then send me your query? Okay, fantastic. I got the answer. So the query for that will be, let's say I just wanted to select two columns. I will say select star. Instead of star, I will say first underscore name, comma, last underscore name from customers. And then I'm going to run this query. You can see that the first name and the last name has got printed. Clear everybody? Okay. Similarly, the same thing you can do with the orders. Okay. So this editor will help you create the new tables. Okay, now let me see if it is giving us an access to create the tables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go back and let's see if it is allowing me to create a table. Create table EMP and then let's execute it. Okay, I'm missing all the things. Okay, let me see. Let me see if it is allowing me to create the database demo. Let's execute it. Okay, does not allow us to create it. So creating is a problem. With the table creation, as I showed you yesterday, you need to make sure you give the entire column names. So you need to give this column names like this, where you will give things like create table, table ID, then give the size and the data type, size and the data type, again the name of the column. Okay, clear everybody? Now let us go to the next thing, and in the next thing we are going to talk about what all are the different SQL clauses. So there are a lot of different SQL clauses, everybody. Those clauses are, first clause is where. So let's say in this editor that I have got so many different things, right? I'll show you. Select star from customers, and I'm going to run it. Everything is coming, right? But in the customers table, can you see that there is one person from UAE, and then there are some people from UK, there are some people from USA. So I can put a where clause here, where country like, and then here I can give down USA. Okay, so what this query is going to do, it is going to fetch me. Let us run this query. As I run this query, you see that only the people from USA are coming, right? Similarly, if I want only UAE, remember there was only one person. So as I select run this query, only one record is coming. Okay, in that editor, can all of you try please for me once quickly? Excellent. So you have tried that where country. Now, any questions till now? You are able to do. Okay, so now let us go back to the slide and see. It says that you can use percentage also, and you can use underscore also. So what does that mean? In this query that you have, you can use a percentage operator, which means anything after the UA should come. Can you see now? When I run this query, you can see UAE has come. So this percentage means starting from U and A, and after the word U and A, anything can come. All right, everybody, anything after U and A will come. It will take every single thing after that. Any questions so far? It's clear? Okay, let's go to the next bit now. Equals don't work very well with the strings. You should always have like. Okay, I got a question here. Matthew Alves, you should go for like. Let's try what you said. If I do is equal to, and I run it. So see, there is some kind of an error. It didn't pick it up. It didn't meet the criteria. Sarath Kumar, explain it one more time. Sure. So Sarath, if you just do this, select star from customers, what will come? Entire list of customers will come. See, customers, sorry. All the customers will come, right, Sarath? But then if you say select star from customers where country like, if you put the word like and you say, I want that country which starts from U and A and percentage. Percentage means anything after U and A will be allowed. Anything after U and A will be allowed, and then you have got a percentage operator which is helping you to take anything. Clear everybody? So U and A, and then you have got the percentage. So now when I execute this query, you will see that when on execution, it will only pick up this country UAE. Then the second query is returning you this result. Is that now clear, Sarath? Percentage. Percentage works like this also. So for example, if I say U percentage, or maybe I'll show you this way, AE and percentage. Let's run and show you one thing. So again, it picked up UAE. AE should be at the ending. Before AE, any data. So if you have a country, there's no country like this, but let's say if you have a country, this will also get selected. Okay. All right. The next one is the top clause. This also I will execute and show you. So let's say you wanted to find the top 5 records, or you wanted to find the top 5 percentage records. How can I do that? I will explain it to you now. Okay. All right, everybody clear? So what I'm going to do is here in this, let's say I just wanted to do top 10, and then I will execute this query. It didn't pick up. What is that query clause? Top 5. Let us change that in the editor. Let's close the remaining editors. So you can see that I've got here a query which is select top, and then so here either you can enter the percentage or you can input anything. Okay, what will be the benefit of using the top clause in SQL? Let's say you had 10,000 records, and out of those 10,000 records, you only wanted the first 5 or top 5 records. So how you can do that? It's very easy. Just you need to do top, and then you can give the query. So I'll show you how the query can be modified in order to execute this. So what I'm going to do is this query select star from customers where age is written, right? After that, I will fetch 2 queries. I will write down 2 queries. The first one that I have over here is, let me just change this query. So the name of the table is customers. So I would say select star from 2 star from customers and top 50% from the customers. This is the query I have written. Okay, so what will this execute query will do? It will give me top 2 percentage from the customer, and the second query will give me top 50% from the customers. Clear, everybody? No questions? So that's how it works. Then the next thing that you have got is after the top query. Okay, underscore, somebody has asked a question on the underscore. On the underscore, see, if you're using percentage, that means you have got a specific set of characters, and after that specific set of characters, you have more integers after that. That is top. On the other hand, if you are using underscore, for underscore means only one character. So where percentage means multiple, the underscore will mean only one. Okay, that is the difference. So for example, this is my notepad. I'll explain you. There is a name called as Rohan. I do R percentage, that means starting from R and anything can be after R. Similarly, if you do percentage R, so names like which will be available, Rohan will be available, Ram, Roshni, all these will be allowed. Percentage R, so that means, or percentage A, so that means, or let me keep R only, so that means starting from any value and ending with R. Clear, everybody? Starting from any value ending with R. So name like Agar, it's ending with R. Okay, or Amar, all those names will be eligible. But then when it comes to underscore, underscore means only one value. Underscore only one value. Whatever I'm writing, I will send it to you in the chat. Before we go on to the break, we will have a break at 7 o'clock. Before we go on to the break, I will share it with you. So underscore means only one specific value, not more than that. So if I say R underscore T, so only one character can be allowed in between, not more than one character. Okay, Narendra, clear now? Good. Let's go back to the slide. So in the PPT, the next thing that we are going to jump on is the next concept. Then the update statement. If you want to update a specific record, how you can update it? You can just do update, give the column name, and then obviously give the value you want to update. Similarly, if you want to delete a specific table, you can delete it. I don't know whether this will allow us to delete the table or not. We can check it. So what is the query? Everybody note first of all the syntax. Delete from table. So let us write down delete from, what is the name of the table? Customers. And let us execute the queries. Other queries are not needed. The result set is empty. Why do you think it is empty? Because they don't want you to, they don't allow you to delete the tables. People will keep on deleting the tables otherwise. They will not allow you to delete the table. It will be there. Okay, but if you want to, in your company, you want to make some modifications to your database, you can use delete. Okay. Another thing is, very commonly used queries are delete and truncate. How many of you can answer what is the difference between deleting and truncating? Very good. Delete will delete the entire table. Very good. On the other hand, the truncate is going to truncate only the rows. Is that right or am I wrong? Delete means deleting the rows from the table and that can be rolled back. Very good. Truncate is going to mean all the rows from the table. Okay. Actually, the correct answer is delete will remove it row by row. Do you know that? If you are deleting one at a time, you can delete it, but truncate will remain fully it will do that. Okay. So delete and truncate. So very commonly used terminologies. There is another SQL query which is called as the alter table statements. Alter means modifying the structure of the table. Now, how does the alter table work? You will give alter table, you will give the name of the table, add, you are asking them to add a column of a specific data type. And similarly, you have a alter table, table underscore ID. You are dropping a specific column. And what is that column? Column underscore EID. Clear, everybody? No questions? Excellent. The next one is the drop table. So see, one is delete. Delete will do it row by row. Truncate will remove everything. And then you have got one more, which is going to help you drop the table. Drop means do it everything. Okay. Clear, everyone? No questions? Okay. Now, dropping the table means it will help us to drop this everything. So rows will also be dropped, column will also be dropped, the entire data, whichever is there, everything will be deleted, will be removed. Is that clear, everybody? Okay. SQL truncate table statement. So truncate table, table ID, you will give that truncate table, table ID, and then you can truncate it. Let's see if they are allowing us to do that. So let's go here. Truncate table customers. Let's run it. Truncate table customers. No, they will not allow us again. It will not allow us again. See all those things, you know, because this is a native database, it will not allow you to do it. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the next one. In the next one, we are going to understand the different operators. Now, what are operators, everybody? Operators help you to perform some kind of an operations. Let me write it down here. You can write it down then. I'll give you a minute time also. Operators helps us to perform some kind of operations. Now in programming language or in database language, if you do 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, 2 and 3 are called as operands. Plus is called as the operator. 5 is called as the result. And this entire thing 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 is called as an expression. Okay. Clear everybody, no questions so far? So any kind of operations, they will help you to perform. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Now, first write it down. Then I will tell you the different operators which we have. Arithmetic, relational, logical, assignment. Kindly write it down. I'll give you a 1 minute. Written them down. Okay, wonderful. So these are the different operators. Now we are going to take a look at what these different operators are and what they will do. Okay. So this is a theory which says operator is a reserved word in SQL which helps you to perform some kind of an operation. And whenever it comes to operators, there are different types of operators. Arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So whenever you are trying to do some kind of a mathematical operation, then you will use a arithmetic operator: plus, minus, multiply, divide, and modulus. Now there is a difference between these operators, guys. The first operator that I'm explaining is the addition. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and all these, you know, there is one operator called modulus operator. How does the modulus operator works? In the case of a modulus operator, let's say if you are dividing 6 divided by 2, can you tell me what is the answer? When you divide these two operators, the answer is very good, 3. But then when you do 6 modulus 2, this will give you remainder. Remainder is what is left when you divide two numbers. When you divide two numbers, what is left? That is modulus. Clear everybody? No questions on this? Modulus. Then there is one more type of operator which is equal to, not equal to. This is also not equal to, greater than, less than. They will always give you a Boolean value. Okay. Then and or not. So when you have multiple conditions on the left and the right hand side, you can use and operator or operator not. And then you have other operators like between, in, like, is, null. You have an operator called distinct. You have an operator called exists. Okay, these are the different operators which we have. Now, This is the next assignment for all of you. You can take a photo of this assignment, please. I will explain you how to do it. Taken a photo, everybody? All right, taken a note. So the first one is you need to create a demo database, and in that database you will create a table called EMP salary. And then after creating that EMP salary, what next I'm going to do is I'm going to insert 7 appropriate records and use the select command to view all the contents of the EMP underscore sal table. Okay, now what next we are going to do is from that EMP table, we will list all the employees, every single employee that will come. Okay, all the employees. Now, I wanted to, let's say, increase the salary of the manager. So here where clause will be used, right? Date of joining, salary you can take in decimal, no problem. Yes, salary you can take in decimals. Okay, the next thing that we have got is clear, everybody, try it. Answers can also be given to you. If you need answers, we can provide. Any questions on this so far? All clear? Normalizations. Now, how does the normalization works? How many of you have actually heard of this normalization term? Can you put it in the chat? I will start explaining normalization. What does it mean? What is the benefit? Very good, guys. So normalization is a technique of making your table look better and better. So it is some guidelines that you need to follow. And these guidelines will help you tremendously on making your tables look better. Okay. So now when it comes to normalization, there are 2 reasons of any normalization process. The first is you can eliminate the redundant data. For example, if you're storing the same data in more than one table, you can remove that. You can ensure that there are no dependencies available. So normalization is a kind of a step that helps you to remove the redundancy. If you think there is a redundant data, you can remove it. So, or maybe any kind of duplication which is available, you can do that, right? So it's a kind of a process which helps you to have a better data integrity on your table, and some kind of rules that help you to organize your tables properly, right? Think about it. There are some traffic rules which we follow. All of you agree? There are some traffic rules we follow. If we don't follow that traffic rules, we don't follow stop at the red light, wait at the yellow light, start moving at the green light, accidents can happen, right? So in order to normalize the flow of traffic, you have got some traffic rules. Similarly, whenever you are working on the databases, there are some normalization techniques. Please write down 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and 4NF. Understood, everybody? Have you everybody written it? So first is 1NF, then you have 2NF, and the next normal form is 3NF. Okay. Now, what is first NF? In the first NF, you make sure that there is a primary key. Now, what is a primary key? I will explain it to you in a very simple way. I will create an Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write down roll number ID. Then I'm going to write down the name of the person, age of the person, marks obtained. Age 24, marks. The second is roll number, age is 34, marks is 79. Now in this table that you all see, right, what do you think is a unique value, something which you can rely on in order to fetch the data? Very good. The most thing is the roll number. Now roll number is nothing but the primary key here. Okay, name can be duplicate. You can have two Rohans. You can have same ages of the person. Marks can be same as well. So roll number is a unique key. Now this was the table, and this is the table. The name of the table is student. And then you have one more table after the student table, and the name of that table that I'm going to make is the address details. Okay, so in this address details, you've got role ID. Okay, in the role ID, you have got the name of the person, and then all you have got is the address of the person. So role ID is 1001. Name over here is, let's say, Rohan, and let's say this Rohan lives in Bangalore. Similarly, you have this where you have got this person, his name is Mohan, and he lives in Chennai. Clear? This is another column. So student table and address table. Now over here, this one can have its own primary key, this one can have its own primary key, but this primary key which belongs to this table if it is used in some other table, it turns out to be a foreign key. FK is what you say. Okay, so this is the primary key in this table, PK, and the same key over here will become the FK, which is the foreign key in this specific table. Is that making sense, everybody? I hope it is totally clear. Primary key, foreign key. Okay. Now all clear. Now let's go back to the slides. So first normal form means no repeating group of data, and then make sure that there is a primary key. Then you have a 2NF, that means there should be no dependencies. Now on normalization is such a topic which itself can take 1 hour. Considering the time we have got and multiple topics, we'll just do it briefly. 2NF means it should follow all the rules of the first normal form, and no partial dependency should be there on the primary key. Similarly, for the third normal form, it should meet all the rules of the second normal form, and the table should have some kind of a relationship also. And similarly, you've got another forms, 4 normal form is there, Boy Scout normal forms is there. Those are the different forms that you have got. Okay, is that clear, everybody? Okay. The next slide is on the constraints, but I think it's been 1 hour. We have been sitting on and on. So let's take a short break. And after coming back from the break, we will continue and we will study the constraints. We will go for triggers. We are going to talk about things like what is the concept of the default constraint, unique, primary, foreign key, the clauses. We are going to briefly look at what is the joins. Okay. Then things like what is a view, functions of the SQL, the sub query or query. Then very briefly, sub procedures and triggers is what we are going to cover. Okay, but before that, let's refresh ourselves. Let's go for a break, and 15 minutes break we will take. Once you come back, we will resume. Okay, all right. PPT, I can drop it in the chat also, Lavanya, or the team will all anyway share it with you. Okay, all right. See you all 7:20 p.m. and be very refreshed when you come back. Okay, see you soon. All right, I hope everybody is back from the break. Now we will get started, and I'm going to share my screen, guys. Please, can you let me know in the chat if my screen is visible? Okay, just before we went on the break, we were looking at the different concepts, isn't it? And I gave you the next snapshot of the assignment. Now we are going to continue on the next further concepts, right? And clauses is what we have covered till now, and we have discussed what is normalization. So now let us talk about the constraints. And what is the meaning of the word constraint? The meaning of word constraint is something which is to do with restrictions. Okay? I am accessing a database, or I am accessing a table. That table that I am accessing, I wanted to have only specific records. Okay, so if I wanted to have only specific record, I can use the constraints. So there are different types of constraints which are available in SQL. The first constraint is, please listen to this very carefully, it is very important. So the Some rules that you enforce on the columns of a table is called as a constraint. Okay, and the different types of constraints which we have in SQL are: the first type of constraint is called as the primary key. The second type of constraint that we have got is a unique constraint. The third is not null constraint. I'll explain you all of them one by one. Then you have something which is called as the default constraint and the foreign key. All right, everybody. These are the two main types of five main types of constraints. So now let us talk about not null. Now see guys, whenever you have a table, in that table, if you have multiple records, there will be some columns which will always be which can never hold a null value. Okay, for example, if I have created a table called as customer, the column customer ID can never be a null column. Okay, you will always have some kind of a record. Similarly, in a student table, the role ID of a student is a not null column. You will always have a not null. Now, there could be other columns like address, salary, which can still have a null value, but these other columns will not have a null constraint. Okay, so how I can use a not null constraint? Create table sales ID, then please give the data type and write down their constraint is not null. So neither can the ID in the sales table can be null, or in the employee ID also it cannot be null. And then address is there, and then the salary is there. So when I talk about salary decimal 18,2, it means that before the decimal number 18 values are allowed, and after the decimal number 2 values are allowed. Similarly, you can alter the sales table. You can alter the column salary decimal 18,2 not null. Similarly, you have got one more constraint which is called as the default constraint. Default means if you are adding the value in the column, it will take that value. But if you are not taking, or if you're not adding the value, then whatever default value is there, it will take that. So in this case, I created a table sales. I have ID, I have employee ID, I have got the age, I have got the address, I have got the salary, and then there is a constraint which I have added, which is called as default. And what is the default value I've got? The default value is 5,000. So that means if I add the value, it will take that value. So if I add the salary to 50,000, it will take 50,000. Otherwise, if when I'm inserting the records in the table, if I do not enter any value, then by default, it will take the 5,000, right? Now let us take a practical example. You are doing a survey, and that survey you are, let's say, doing in UK. Okay, so the home country of that survey is UK, and but the different people who are participating in the survey can be from different other countries also. People could be from USA, people could be from UAE. In different locations, people might be there, right? So what constraint you are putting here is that if the user is adding the record and he or she has entered the location as USA or any other country, it will take it. But if the user has not added any country, by default, you are assuming that that particular person is from the home country. Let's say you're giving some kind of a message. If it's a home country, don't need to enter the location. So in such a case, you can have a default value UK, and if the user enters the home country, the system will take it. Otherwise, whatever the default value is there, which is UK, will be picked up. Okay, so that's how it works. So whenever you are adding constraints in the table, there are two ways of adding the constraints in the table. The first way of adding a constraint is when you can add the constraint So you can say default 5,000 for salary. All right, everybody, I hope that is making sense. So you can say alter table sales. And if you want to, let's say, remove the constraint, you will use drop constraint. I'll give you a small assignment, only 2 minutes of time. Please type faster. I just want to see if you guys are with me and you have understood. You have to create a table called as customer. If the customer does not enter the address, by default, the address will be pointing to the city Bangalore, right? And you need to do it with option 1, which is this. You can all see I'm highlighting something on my screen. You can also do it with this option, right? So any both of these options you can do and show me. I repeat the question. You will create a table called as customer. You can add any values, any columns that you want to, customer ID, name. But in the address, default value should be Bangalore. So if the user enters any other value, we will accept that. Otherwise, by default, we are having a value as UK. Okay, 2 minutes of time, guys. Please put it in the chat. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, less than 30 minutes left. So let's try our best to take the most out of this workshop. Any questions, please put it in the chat. Hello, okay, everybody done? Okay, I was going through the chats. Excellent, Nazma, Amit, Dhanshri, Ernest. No, Ernest, no audio. Nahi, I was not speaking only. Okay, Famida, I was waiting for all to finish the query. Right, default constraint is done. Then comes the next constraint, which is the unique constraint. Unique constraint on a table says that if you have added a unique constraint to that column, you cannot add the same value in that particular column. So for example, I have added a unique constraint called as on the table, on the column age, right? So that means once I have added the age as 25, I cannot have another record with the same age, right? This is very useful in cases like where you are maintaining unique IDs. For example, you are capturing the license details of some person, people, right? Of some people. So in this case, the license, all of you know, is a unique value. It cannot be duplicated. So that means if I entered a license number of a user as PB11225567, again, next time if I'm adding with the same number, the system should throw me an error saying that there is already a record with the same value, because that particular column will be constrained under the unique. Okay. Similarly, in the same example, let's say I want to issue a driving license. We all know that the legal age for the driving license is greater than 18 years. So if you're trying to add a record in the database with the age which is less than 18 years, system should give you an error. And what constraint you are going to use here, everybody? The name of the constraint is check constraint. Okay, so please practice all of them. Obviously, then we have covered primary key constraints, you know, foreign key. The primary key in one table is the foreign key in the other table. We have covered that. And just for your extra practice, you can do assignment 3. Please do not worry about the PDF at the end of the session today. I am going to drop this in the chat. Okay. Now, many of you, when you log in from web Zoom, you're not able to see the file which I download, which I upload in the chat, which is absolutely fine. The team will provide you with the PDF and all the assignments. Okay. They have your email addresses and you will get it. And some people are asking me questions in the chat about the certificate. I think it was made clear yesterday that if you have attended today's and yesterday's workshop, you will get a certificate for this workshop as well. Okay, so please don't ask questions related to certificates and recordings. The session is getting recorded. This will be available on the YouTube link which the team gave you. You have joined the Instagram, Telegram, all those channels you have joined. So you will get the notifications there. Okay. Right. Any other question from what we are covering at the moment? Okay. Wonderful. So let's go on to the next bit, and that is the different clauses. Now there are different clauses in SQL. There is a clause which will help you search the values between the different values. In clause is there, like clause is there, count is there, distinct is there, order by, group by, and having. Okay, so these all constraint clauses are there which helps you to fetch your data in a specific order. So for example, if it is a between clause, I wanted to fetch all the records which are between 18 and 50 years of age. So what I can do, I can use this query that you can see on my screen. The next is the in. I wanted to find out one specific value in a range of values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a in clause. Similarly, you have a like will be more of a pattern. And then you have a count will help you count the number of elements. And then you have distinct column, which helps you to do the selective counts. Okay, distinct. Order by, group by, and having we will cover in our advanced level SQL workshop later. As I told you, we've got only 4 hours. So we are trying to deep dive as much as we can. But you know, SQL is very vast. So we will not be, we have a time restriction, right? But at Skillslash, when we cover our data science module, we have a thorough, we give our delegates a thorough understanding of the SQL module as well, where in depth we walk you through the different queries that we need to know as a data scientist. Okay. Girish, the PDF of the previous class has not been given. Girish, which workshop did you attend with me? Can you please let me know? I'll ask the team to arrange it for you. So in all cases, the team is very particular about sending the PDFs. Worst case, if you have not got the PDF, you can drop them an email. Okay, and I'm sure they will respond. Can you please let me know which workshop was it, Girish? Let me help you out. Okay. Right. Now, very quickly, we're just going to scratch the surface when we come to the joins topic. Again, you know, it can take us 2, 3 to 5 hours to cover this topic, but we will be able to just, you know, give you a walkthrough. Okay. UX and UI, Aravindan, that was a workshop, you mean? Yes, that's the workshop. That would not be with me, I think. Okay, that was not taken by me, right? I don't take UX and UI. So whatever workshop it is, which you have conducted or taken with Skillslash, please drop them an email. Okay, they'll be happy to help. Right, now the joins. Now what is joins? You know, many a times you are in a situation where you just don't want to fetch the data from one specific table only. You want the data to be retrieved from multiple tables. And if you want to do that, whenever you want to combine the records from 2 or more tables in the database, you will use the concept of joins. And join is something which helps you to combine the fields from one table to other. So these are the different types of joins. As I said, in the advanced level, we are going to cover inner, left, right, full. The inner join is when you take the intersection between both the tables. The right join looks like this. Left join, left means you pick up everything from the leftmost, the table which is on the left hand side of the query, and the common elements from both the tables. Similarly, you have got something which is called as a full join as well. So these are the different types of joins that we have, right? One more clause which is called as the union clause helps you to combine the results of 2 or more statements, and it gives you the result. Then similarly, you have got something which is called as a union all clause. You have an intersect clause which helps you to find the common elements of intersection between the 2 or more tables. Once you are comfortable with this, once you have self-trained yourself, yes, Lavanya, I will share this PDF. at the end of the session. I will drop it in the chat. Okay, that's the only way I can do it. I don't have your email addresses, so I will drop this in the chat. Okay. Now a view. What is the benefit of creating a view? A view is a statement which is stored in the database. It is a kind of a table only, but it is a copy of a table which you can create. So it's not wrong to say that the views are nothing but the virtual tables. Okay, they are virtual tables. So whenever you are creating a view out of a table, the entire structured data of that table will get created and you will get a view generated. Okay, and then you can modify the way you want to. Now, the good thing about these queries are you have a very structured way of writing these queries. For example, if you have to create a database, what query do? You use create database name. Similarly, when you are creating tables, you will do create table name. Similarly, when you want to create a view, your query is not going to change. It will just be create view, name of the view. Okay, and which all from which table you want to create that view. So it's kind of a virtual table. If you make a modification in the copy of that table, which is view, that does not modify the original table. Remember. Okay, then there are some of the constraints here. Now the way you drop the database, the way you drop the table, similarly you can use the drop view. Okay, now can anybody in the chat tell me what will this query do? Drop view ID. You can write down in the chat. Excellent, very quick responses. Thank you so much for letting me know. Good answers. So what it is going to do, this entire view that we have created will be flushed out from the system, removed from the system, right? And then after this, if you are trying to access the view, you will get an error. Clear, everybody? All right, the next is the SQL functions. Now what we are going to do is we are going to cover what all are the different SQL functions, right? So before we do that, we need to understand what is the benefit of a function. The benefit of a function is that you can create it once and you can use it multiple times. So the different functions we have got is count, max, then you have minimum function, average, sum, square root, and concat. So the count function is an aggregate function which helps you count the total number of rows in the database table. On the other hand, the max will allow you to select the maximum value. Min will allow you to select the minimum value, whereas the AVG, which is the average, it is going to give you the average value. So these are the different string functions which I've created, which I've listed down on the slide. I've got ASCII, char index, then I've got the left, right, len, lower, upper. So there are hundreds of functions like this, right? There are things like date functions, which helps you to get the date, get the day, month, and year, format it, convert it. So these are some of these functions that we have got. And then in terms of the user defined functions, these are some of the functions which you can create on your own, right? So this is the last topic for today. So when it comes to user defined functions, they can help you perform a complex logic, right? It can help you accept the parameters and return the data, right? So now there are two types of functions, scalar functions and the vector functions. So I'm going to explain it to you one by one. This is the syntax of scalar functions. Create function mySum, and these are the parameters and these are the data types. The data types will define what kind of data you are trying to add. So this is the syntax. Create function mySum, This is the parameter 1. This is the parameter 2. It is returning an integer value. And then here you are declaring a variable. Can you see that? You're setting the C to A plus B and you're returning the C value and selecting dbo.mysum 10, 20 drop function mysum. Clear, everyone? The next thing that we are going to, I hope everybody is digested till here. Okay, let's go quickly and then we've got less time left. We'll cover this and I'll love to take up all the queries at the end. So these are some of the assignments that we have done, which we can do. If you are feeling any problems with this, we can provide you solutions, but I would request everybody to first try it. Okay. All right, I'm going to the chat window to read some questions. Any doubts before I go ahead? Mathiasam, user-defined function will come under PL SQL. Good. The Sarmata and Binduja, I didn't understand what DBO. What do you mean to ask? Please, can you elaborate? Girish Kumar Katari, the PDF PPT you will get today. I will upload it in the chat window. Okay, we've discussed this, guys. Don't ask again and again on the PDF. I will upload it. Okay, towards the end. Please be with me till the end of the session. I'll upload it for sure. This PDF is for all of you. Okay, I'll upload it. Now, the next thing is the sub queries. Sub queries is query within a query where you created a query and you can have, and this is also called as inner query. So for example, you wanted to fetch a record from a table where a particular condition is getting satisfied. So sub queries normally they will use the database administrators will use it with the select statement, right? However, you can also use insert, update, and the delete statement. So all the CRUD operations that we have discussed so far works very well with the sub queries or the inner queries. Okay. Similar to the functions, the last topic for today, stored procedures. Stored procedure is also a kind of a function which you can create to reuse the code over and over again. This is the syntax, right? And you can have similarly parameterized, non-parameterized procedures, right? So you can look at the syntax and attempt these assignments whenever you have time. Similar to this, you've got the concept of the triggers, where how do you define the triggers word? Trigger means something which is instantiating something, right? So trigger is again some kind of a stored procedure in SQL with a difference. And what is the difference? Any trigger that is attached to the table gets only fired if it is linked with an insert, update, or delete. Okay, so let's say you have added a trigger to a table. So you said create trigger ID on a table, which is this, for insert, update, and delete. This trigger will only get fired if you are attempting to get the insert, update, or the delete query. So that is how the triggers will work. Okay, so these are some of the examples of triggers. Okay, now before I take up any questions, let me make sure, guys, be all ears now. I am going to drop this PDF in the chat. Okay, and as I told you, it's a PPT, sorry, not a PDF. Okay, no, it's PDF file. So I'm going to drop this PDF file in the chat now. Okay, now some of you who are logging from your mobile devices, or some of you who are using the web version, you might not able to see it. I repeat, people who are logged in into this workshop using the mobile devices, or if you are logged in using the web version of Zoom, You might not be able to access it. You might not be able to see me dropping it. Okay. But that is absolutely fine. As I said, this team will be sharing it with you. Let me drop it now and I'll do it multiple times so you can access it. Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll just do it now. No, Arnel, Rushikesh, give me 2 minutes. I'm just dropping it now. Okay. Let it upload. It's a big file. It might take time in reaching you all. All right. I have added it now. Are you able to see it now? Can you send me some yes, no in the chat so I know whether the effort I'm applying is helping you? Matthews got it. Gautam got it. Narendra got it. Wonderful. Muhammad Ali got it. You're joining from mobile, dear, then you will not be able to access, as I said. So in that case, as I told you, team will provide it to you. Chandra, not got it because not got it. Okay. Okay. No problem. You will get it. You know, this I never do only. I'm not allowed to set it on the chat but because you guys were asking it again and again, I thought why not to share it in the chat. Normally team will provide it to you. Okay, so relax. If you're not able to see it, fine, you will get it. Team will give it to you. All right. Okay. Questions time. Anything that you want to ask from today's workshop? Any questions? Guys, please don't put emails in the chat. I will not be able to send you an email. Yes, but if somebody can help you, Ernest, why not? Okay, guys, can you send it to Ernest? Anyone? Okay. Don't worry. As I said, I repeat, you will get it from the team anyways. Okay. All right, let's leave this topic here now. You will get the PPT. I have put it in the chat multiple times. In fact, after the session also, for 5 minutes, I will leave the bridge open so you can download it, right? Now, Shweta, advanced workshop on the database do we conduct? Yes, at Skillslash, we will conduct 3 workshops every month. And in fact, not 3, multiple workshops we will conduct every month, right? The main idea, and you know, these are all free workshops. The main idea behind this workshop is to make sure that we give our knowledge to as many delegates across the globe. So I know many of you have joined us outside India today. So the main idea is to have a community of people who can take a benefit out of the workshops that we conduct. Okay. So having said that, thank you so much for joining the workshop. It was such a pleasure to have you on board. And so much so I wanted to hear from all of you, but you all agree with me with 200 plus delegates. It's not very effective communication where we can speak. But one thing what I can promise is, you know, or what something we do in our daily Monday to Friday, weekday and weekend classes is we have that unmute option where people will speak, where my delegates speak every moment with me. Okay. So just for the effectiveness of the sessions, you all were muted. But I think that did not spoil the show. We were able to communicate through the chat, right? And I hope you had fun. You have learned something new. Thank you so much for your kind words, everybody. And thank you for taking out time today and yesterday. It was pleasure having you, and see you all very soon again. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, and good luck, everybody, and do the best in life. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. So as I said, I'll drop the PDF one more time and you can download it if you want to get it. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night.